Okay, Tanner. So I asked you to watch that 10-minute Major League sample first because I used some of the new videos that I got on my phone this summer that really illustrate this. I didn't want to put up anything beside you so that you could just focus on this. And then after you watch this, I'm going to edit in all 8 of your swings. I believe this is number 6. Right? I wrote the number on each one. I went back and I cut up each individual swing. First just showing your lower half, and then second just showing your upper half, and then third showing your entire body on your swing so you can watch them all in slow motion. The reason I asked you to watch that 10-minute Major League one was I wanted to err on the side of, I don't want to use the word overkill, but to show some different guys with different styles doing 2 things that I want to talk to you about. And I want to just get this point out there. Obviously, you had one of the best years in Mount Lebanon history. You had a great year. With the way that you're swinging, you're going to have another great year. The stuff that I want to talk about is like long-term kinetic chain stuff that's like, if you're still playing for the snaps, like if you're still playing games, don't think about any of this stuff because you never hit. But this is like long-term till we get till, March 6th. We play the first game March 17th. Like this is long-term stuff to work on. And again, it's funny. I wish I had the video of you from years ago. The changes that you made are phenomenal. And you're doing a ton of good things. I just figured I was going to take the super deep dive, but I want to keep it on 2 things. All right, I'm done yapping. All right. So the first thing from a kinetic chain perspective, I think you're losing your hip load. As you take your negative motion, you're really getting into your leg and losing some of your back hip load. So as I'm going to zoom in here, and we're going to see as you get a little bit of a climb, I think you're getting more into your leg than just into your hip. Let me get that crap off of there. So you're taking your negative movement, which is fine, but you can see the difference with the Major League guys, how you just come out of your hip load a little bit, how you get a little bit up and then down. And I think you're feeling a little bit more with your front foot. And that's why I wanted you to watch those Major League samples over and over again. See how you get that little bit of a climb? Now you're doing a nice job of not getting any premature rotation. But I think, from where you are there, I think you're shortchanging some of the power that you could have. Again, don't make this change if you're playing in a game. It will completely throw off your timing. But I think as you watch those Major League guys, how they, number one, get more into their hip than their leg. See how you climb up? And it's a little bit of a reach with that front foot. Then as you come down, I think we can work on getting more of a stretch between your upper half and lower half. Come together just a little bit. Again, you do a lot of things great. You hit the ball hard. You drive the ball. The home run you hit at Baldwin was insane. Seeing you hit the ball a mile. Again, everything we're talking about here is good to great. Good to great. Good high school player to wrecking machine in high school and performing at the next level. Into your back leg a little bit more than your back hip. See how you got up and down a little bit and a little bit of a reach. And I think that you could get your weight off of your back side more as you get into the ground and start to rotate, creating a little bit more of a stretch. And again, you're very smart. I wanted to put out that 10-minute video, and then you can just watch all of your swings repeatedly that are going to run after this and see how you climb out of your hip load a little bit because it'll run smooth. A little bit of reach. And then as we start to rotate, We don't get as much of a stretch. Now, the other thing that I wanted to talk about is when you get to toe touch, seeing where you got the angle of your bat. From there, and you'll see, you'll run all your top out. Now, I love the back elbow independent of the hands, real good. But you can see by where your bat is behind you, see how you have to come away just a little bit and then try to pull back in, and you end up getting that little bit of an around type of action. You've made so many improvements with your lower half, and I hate to come back to this again, not hate. You used to dive in, but I still think that you get a little bit of up, down. It's much better than before, but as you get to that spot, again, you can really see, and you'll look at the major leaguers, how they're much more up and down with their bat. That's pretty far behind. And then as you watch, again, good back elbow independent, you can see how it's difficult to get that straight path to the ball. I picked this one because it's the one thing that can expose it a little bit when the ball is elevated and in. And you see how it gets you a little bit of that around action. And you can see that longer path that your hands have to take as your bat's in that position there, how difficult it is to get that barrel around. And I gave you the major league samples to show you where your hands could be to allow you to pull the bat out of the slot in a more efficient way to get to the ball. So, to recap, as we're already at the 7-minute mark, I didn't want to go this long, but like I said, this is deep dive, long-term stuff that we're looking for, working the winter for, to be ready for March 17th. As you take your negative motion, feel yourself getting into your back hip, and you're athletic enough to do this. Just sink into your back hip rather than get that little, see you get that little climb there? See you get that little climb there? We're just losing our hip load. I think we get a little bit of reach with our front foot rather than using our back leg to carry us. And then I kept showing how guys, as their heel comes into the ground, they get more of a drive forward, whereas you get a little bit rotational. And I think that you can get even more of a stretch. That's pretty good right there. But as you get that hip driving forward, I think you can be able to get to there with your hands still back more. As we talk about where we slot our hands, you can see again how the bat gets so far behind you that when the ball's up and in, you can see how it's not quite the most efficient path to try to get to the ball. So again, what I'm talking about here is going good to great. You had a phenomenal year. You could swing this way and have another phenomenal year. But I want to try to unlock every bit of potential you have, not only because of your mental aptitude towards hitting, your ability to compete, which is second to none, and the fact that you're athletic and can manipulate your body. You're going to be able to get into your back hip instead of into your back leg. And then as you get into the ground, feel more of that back leg driving forward instead of being so rotational. And as we fix where we start our hands, you'll be able to pull out with more of a direct path to the ball instead of having to try to work hard to pull that through there.